to ask as well about Ollie's return. How do you feel about that? What did he bring to the band? And because it's amazing, no? Someone that it's been from the very beginning, then left, and then it's coming back, and it feels like, I don't know, it's...
Yeah. I mean, obviously, when Niklas left, and that was a very sad thing, of course, because he was in the band for 17 years or something like that. And it was kind of shocking thing. And then when we need to come up with new bass players, and we're thinking of all the alternatives, and he was the only one that we actually really felt positive even asking to join the band, and at first it was like he had a very solid job in he was working for the government for some computer things, and he didn't want to jeopardize that, and we kind of agreed that he's doing the tour with the Eclipse album. It looked like an anniversary thing, and then some shows with Volbeat, and that was supposed to be it, but somehow we managed to talk him over to stay in the band, and he wasn't first, we asked him, and he wasn't kind of first. He was still having a little doubts about it, and he wasn't about to join, but then all of a sudden it changed his mind, and here we are.
He's still with his day job?
No. I think he could take 2 years off from that, but I don't know what's going to happen in the future. We have to ask him, but I hope he is not going anywhere. And but he brought a lot of stability, in mentally to the band, very calm and relaxed atmosphere right now, which is great.
Okay, I want to talk about also that you spoke about classical music. There's a lot of orchestra in the album. I know that mostly it was taken care by Jens. Do you see in the future, or maybe for 1 or 2 shows, actually bringing that to life?
Well, that's something to consider. Obviously, if we would do something like that, then it would be, we would have to maybe bring in more arrangements with the orchestra, arrange the whole show with the old songs and stuff like that.
The guest musicians.
And also because it makes no sense to bring that for a couple of songs. It's too expensive.
No, for a couple of shows, I mean.
But I mean, we don't have many songs with the orchestra.
Mm-hmm.
It would be. Yeah, that is something to consider. We've been talking about that, briefly, and it's something that might happen in the future, but there's no actual plans for it or anything. And it is, as I said, it's very expensive to make it happen, because orchestras are expensive, and you need to pay them by hour and everything. They belong to the union, and they need to have breaks and everything, and it's probably hard, but many people have done it, and we might consider it.
You can even take it further and do it like Paradise Lost or Catatonia, that they did the show in.
But that's what I mean. A lot of people done it. So in that sense, Metallica and Paradise Lost and blah blah blah. Insomnium did it. I think with the Joensuu Orchestra in Ilosaari Festival in Finland.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And a lot of people kind of done it already. So in that sense,
But maybe you can do it in a way that they haven't done it.
Well, yeah. Well, that's something that you have to consider to make it some sort of, in some ways, original, because otherwise it is kind of fun, But obviously, our music, there's lots of room for that kind of arrangement, and it would probably be a good idea. And we will take it under consideration.
Okay, and I wanted to talk as well about the guest musicians you had in the album, especially Anek.
Right.
How did you take into consideration to bring Anek voice to the album?
Well, Anek came because we made this special show in Finland. We also made a record from it. it was part of the Helsinki Juhlaviikot, which is kind of a festival in Helsinki. It happens over 1 or 2 weeks around the city and stuff. So we played this tent thing in a park with guests from Sakari Kukko from Peter Pauke and Anneke and Pekko Keppi and mostly ethnical musicians, and also Anneke was part of that show. And I think Esa composed some tracks to her album, and in that way, Esa knew her, and he asked her to join that show. And during that event, we were talking about that it would be cool to do something in the future, that she would feature in the album or something like that, and that's basically the story behind that, and obviously it came out very good, and I'm very happy.
I feel it's one of my favorite songs from the album.
Yeah, pretty popular track.
And talking about the vocal range of Tommy, I think on this album he's bringing like another part of his voice that we didn't see it on the previous album, because he was more like a clean voice or growl voice, and I don't know if it's because he's been on Halatar, and on Halatar I don't know if I'm pronouncing it well, but on Halatar he's been doing this harsh voice, more blackish,
sort of more black metal style.
Yeah, he's bring it as well to this album that maybe I wasn't at least appreciating on the previous stuff of Amorphis.
Yeah, but and
I kind of like it.
Yeah, it's cool, but if you listen to the Under the Red Cloud album, there's actually 2 tracks, four wise ones, and the one of the other one. I don't remember the name anymore, but there's just 2 tracks actually that has the similar kind of a black. I think that was actually the first album we kind of introduced that kind of more blackish style singing. Yeah, obviously I think it's more maybe evolved to this album, and it certainly brings something new to the table. Yeah, and also the whole vocal performance, I think, on the new one with this growling voice and the clean and everything is more sort of detailed and energetic and more aggressive and more like.
For me, it sounds like a desperate voice.
Like the singing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of lonesome. It's desperation, something like that. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we're very lucky to have a multi-voice singer like that, because you can really use it in the context of bringing different kind of emotions and stuff like that.
And I wanted to talk about the set list because you're gonna turn 30 years, I believe, as a band next year. And I believe that every time you release an album, I think it's even more difficult to pick the songs that you're gonna play, because you're gonna leave something behind. But I've been following the band since quite a lot of years now, and I believe there's an album that's always left off, and I don't know why, because it's not a very old album, which is Silent Waters.
Yeah, that's true, and
I don't know. It's because it's the more melancholic one, or the more I don't know. Say
I don't seriously even think there is any reason behind that. We're just picking the songs that we feel that are the strongest for the current live environment, and as you said, it's very hard to pick the songs. It's almost impossible.
Yeah, I know. I understand that.
And we are 6 persons with different opinions, and we have to come up with some sort of solution. But for example, this tour, we really want to promote the new album, because we really feel that it is a very strong album. So we're playing lots of material from the new one, and I understand it might be disappointing for some fans of any particular album being left off, and there's definitely lots of my favorite tracks that I would like to play live from the Skyforger album or Eclipse album or Silent Waters for
it's
that
not
matter.
That Silent Water is my favorite album or anything. It's just that I was thinking, I was like, I haven't seen anything from this album, I believe, since 2009.
Yeah, I can't give you any details, but maybe.
If it calls to us, I don't know.
We used to play that Silent Waters track, I think. still 2 years back or something in some Finnish stores or something like that. But anyway, but as being said, it's very hard, and there's lots of good tracks, being left behind. But for a tour like that we are not even playing, a sort of a full set for 90 minutes because it's a co-headline with soil work, and we have to, give them time too and stuff like that. So, and Ginger and the other bands too, and we can't bring the whole repertoire.
No, of course.
Yeah. So it's as I said, it might be even disappointing for for me personally or somebody else in the band too. That you would like to play a certain type of track or whatever, and but it will not end up being in the set list, if you know what I mean.
So you basically decided that you need to represent this current album because you really believe that it's a very solid album.
Yeah, and that's somewhat true, and that's somewhat what we always, at least lately, been doing. When we released, for example, the previous one Under the Red Cloud, it was the same kind of thing. And it's very highly acclaimed albums, and I really feel that people actually like to hear the new songs live. It's not like as we talked previously in this interview, that I hate the fact being a band that nobody gives a shit about the new material, and there is a lot of bands like that, unfortunately, and we don't want to be that kind of band, so that's why we are putting all the effort to the new material.
No, actually, I really believe that this new album it's great. I actually picked it off one of my, I think it was on the top 5 or I don't know. I really like it, this new one. I just felt curious, because it's been okay. Why Salem? What I don't know. Maybe it was there's bands that they are really not liking one of the albums from.
Yeah. But as you said, we have this 30 years thing coming, and there's plans to make a tour
or
a concert. Yeah, I believe. But it's a good link to that.
Yeah.
So we are very likely doing something around that event, but that would be obviously something with completely different set list with over the years, and it's going to be a long set list and stuff like that, and perhaps in that kind of a context, there would be more stuff spread over the history of the band.
And were you believing that when you started in the band that you were gonna hit the 30?
Never. 30? No.
Okay.
I don't think I was gonna even hit the 30 years of in my life or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how does it feel to be in a band with that long career and still in a success? That you are not living off the old hits.
It's hard to answer. How do I feel, because I kind of like to look to the future, and as a band we like to look to the future and go forward and not look behind, and obviously events like that, something that you make a show for 30 years or something, they a little bit have to look behind and wait a minute, like what have we been doing, because I don't personally really listen to our albums or whatever, I don't even remember all the songs we have done and stuff like that, and it's certainly going to be interesting to a little bit look to the history and see what's going on, and but it feels good. I mean, that after all these years we are still going strong, and we are able to do this professionally, and it's looking bright. So I mean, in that sense, it feels great. Obviously.
There's also people saying that without the exit that brought Tales from the Thousand Lakes, a lot of the Finnish bands that they are famous now, it will take longer, to break out that
you
music.
Mean like for new bands or
No, I mean that without the exit that came out from this album, it will take longer to new from to.
Oh yeah. Maybe I don't know. But you mean like that it's been sort of an influential album or something like that, or
More like an influential, like an open door album to Finland.
A door opener album. Yes, so sort of. I think it is, and it was because nobody toured, in outside Finland when we made that album, and it obviously was a door opener album for us. But yeah, in a long term, perhaps for others too. But also, I think Sentenced, album Amok was a similar kind of an album, and there was two bands back then that actually kind of, broke to the scene internationally from Finland, and it's being on that album and doing that album back in the day. I would have had no idea that it's going to be such an influential album to other bands, and and obviously it's great that it is and stuff like that, and it's a good thing, for others. That if we've been helping other bands to go forward, I think that's a great thing.
Okay, and also relating to this album, I feel I don't know how you feel about that, but I've been reading like this new album is the 13th one, and if you count it, it's like they are not counting Karelian Isthmus. And most of most of the press are not counting like the debut album as your debut album.
Oh, that's interesting. But it is our debut album.
Yeah, but it's been like this is your 13th album, and maybe I'm counting wrong, but there's a lot of people that not considering Karelian Isthmus like an album.
Oh, that's weird. I didn't even know that. But if I'm certainly, and we are certainly counting it as an album, and for us that makes 13 albums. I don't know who's counting wrong,
maybe because someone is counting Magic and Mayhem as an album.
Yeah, but it is an album. It is a studio album. Yeah, it is a compilation album, but it's a re-recorded compilation album, and I would consider that as an album too. So any beat any way or the other way. But
I'm gonna check it later.
Yeah, but for us it's 13 albums. Period.
13, okay. Yeah. But I've been reading a lot that like the debut album, your first album, everything it was Tales from the Southern Lake, and I was like,
that's weird.
What's the people's not counting the Karelian Isthmus? And I wanted to bring it to the table because maybe it's something that you didn't even know it.
Well, I certainly didn't know that, and but I mean, if somebody is feeling that it's not worth being recognized as an album or something, so be it, And I have no opinion about that. Maybe but is that a common thing that you've been experiencing? Or?
I've been like every time I prepare for an interview, I wanted to read old interviews because I don't like to repeat questions or everything, because I mean if they explain it before, why I have to ask everything.
Yeah.
And lots of people were like talking about this and certain album and not counting the first one. I was like,
well, that's certainly is weird, but it is what it is, and I mean, there's nothing I can do about that.
Okay, and to close the interview, I always ask the bands what it was the best album or the best thing that they listened from 2018.
2018.
Or something that you're really expecting to listen to this year.
Well, I'm looking for a new Tool album. I've been waiting for an album for 10 years or something, and it's still not there. But now I hope it's almost done, and they're actually touring next summer also. Probably not with the new album, but some festival shows.
Yeah, they're
well, that would be Spain. My choice of to the most wanted album for me of 2019. If it's gonna be released 2019, I don't even know that yet. But I certainly hope so, and I think it will, and that will be my number one.
Okay. Anything else you want to to add to your Spanish fans?
Well, not really, except to go see the shows and buy albums and support musicians.
Well, it's a sold-out show, so I think you...
Yeah, but that's what I mean.
You got it here.
Yeah.